12th of January, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
I'm sorry, the Nashach, I say for Torah. And the minig is that when you're done with the reading, you should kiss the Sefer Torah. Ukish Nizdamnin Lo Rak. You should be careful. Right, make sure you don't spit on it. Yarok, Achmin Hatzad, Velo Keneged Sefer Torah, even to the side and certainly not towards Sefer Torah.
I think he's saying if you have to spit, so you should spit, but not in the direction of the Sefer Torah.
Okay. Kamavor B'Yordea Simon Reish Ayin. It's explained in Yordea Simon Reish Ayin. V'achach Nishak. And afterwards you should kiss the Sefer Torah. Lo Nishak v'achach Rak. But you should not kiss the Torah first and then spit afterwards. Sefer Torah Zeh Damashma Shetofsa Biyado. It was this Sefer Torah. It's Mashma that's still in your hands.
Right. Don't spit. Don't kiss it and then spit. Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. There's no comment on the Ramah exactly about that the last point he mentioned.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, let's begin the next Kuf Mem.
Okay. Akori Sefer Torah V'nishtatek. Somebody who reading the Torah and V'nishtatek is pauses
I think it became silent.
You just stopped in the middle of the reading.
Yeah, it could be.
Omed Yashkiel B'makom Shehitchiel Harishon. I guess he couldn't. Oh, he started reading. He for whatever reason he couldn't finish reading it.
Right. Yeah. They got stuck somewhere in the middle for some reason. Yeah.
Okay. Then whoever replaces him come and starts where he began. And he makes the blessings at the beginning and at the end. So you kind of ignore that aliyah completely and start over again. Rambam lo yivorch v'tzikil. The Rambam says you don't make it a bracha at the beginning. Even in our modern days where the shliach sibur does the reading, dina chachi. That's what the din is. Okay. Mishna Berura. Akor b'Torah. Somebody's reading the Torah. V'kol shekain im nishtatek takef la'acha bracha kodev shetil l'krot. And certainly, if he was interrupted after he made the bracha before he started reading, then he'll say Hasheni b'birkasa, and the second person would not be Yosei with his bracha, so he has to repeat the brachas. Mimakam Shehishel Rishon, where the first he begins from the place where the first person began. Ratzon wants to say about Yatchil b'Makam Shehefsi. He doesn't Shapasak Harishon. He doesn't begin at the place where the first one stopped, the Yorek Lifneim Lachreim, and then make brachas before and afterwards. Shim Kain Hayu Osim Osa Haposkim Shakara Rishon Nisparach Lifneim Velo Achreim, because they would look at the first person did a bracha beforehand and didn't do a bracha afterwards. V'kol shekain in yachil b'makom shepasak harishon v'orek achlov levad. And certainly, if you started the place where the first person stopped and just said the bracha afterwards, dahari lahu harishon and baruch lefneim, because the first person would have read said a bracha beforehand, lo acharav, and not afterwards, and acharim, the ones at the end, acharim and lo lefneim, they would say the blessings afterwards and not beforehand. Therefore, it begins the place where the first person began. And then he says the brachas before and after. Okay. He says the first bracha. He said the first bracha. He's not able to rely on the first bracha that the nishtatek, the one who was interrupted, made. because somebody who makes a bracha on the Torah is not doing it to motzi anybody else's brachas on the Torah. I'll call echad v'achad min hakorin mevorech. Just turn the page. They make a bracha for themselves. V'ayin b'achronim shechasvin, look in the achronim who write. Choser mevorech eno choser lamidas borku. You go back to the beginning. You don't say borku again. Habracha bilvad who iker birkas Torah, because the bracha itself is the iker bracha for the Torah. Or Rambam, according to the Rambam, sphere law the somech al birkas rishon. You can rely on the bracha of the first person because they know how the achronim write iker kedei harishona. That the iker is the day rishona, which is yesterday bracha before and after. The reason is Damasha ha-shaliach sibur kore, that when the shaliach sibur is writing ki'ilu kore hu daninin law.
That
It's as if the aliyah is reading it himself. Is that what he's saying?
seems to be again says the Masha Kor Shatz Kor and Kilu Kor who right right that even though we're making the bracha, the Shliach Tzibor, the Baal Koira is reading, and it's as he is reading for the person who made the bracha. Yeah. Right. That's the Hezbollah of the Ramah when he says even Bisman Hazeh, now that we have a Shatz who does the reading, right? Nevertheless, these halachas are still applicable because it's the bracha is as if the person himself is doing the reading. So the question is, I'm not sure. Bisman Hazeh, when you have, is that if you switch the Baal Koire in the middle of the Kriya, you don't have to make a new bracha.
Nope. Well, if you switch him in the middle of your Laining, like he's in the middle of reading Levi and he stops in the middle and you're bringing up a new person. We just said that he has to go back to the beginning of Levi to start reading again.
And when it comes up, the new Baal Koire, right? The new Baal Koire.
Corey comes up and starts reading Levi over again, then since it's as if the first reading didn't happen at all, a bracha has to get made again, whether it's about Corey making the bracha. I've never seen that, but that's my that's my interpretation of what the Mishna Berura is saying.
It seems to be indicating what he said. Rambam. Let's see. According to the Rambam, so there's some of a.
I mean, it's almost like when you find a psul in the Sefer Torah in the middle of an aliyah,
right?
And you can't continue with that Sefer Torah. You put that one aside. You bring a new Sefer Torah out. But at that point, you just continue from reading from where you were. You don't start over again, and so the bracha is still good.
Right.
So I don't have an answer. I've lots of ramblings, but no answer.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure myself. Feel as much. This Ramah is going on the Shittas of the Rambam. The Rambam lo yivarach b'tefillah, right?
Right. He says you can rely on the bracha of the first person.
Right.
But that's when you're changing, readers or aliyahs. It's not when you're. But in case you change the Torah, it's the same reader in the same aliyah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure. It's a little bit fuzzy, this halacha by me.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Okay.
Okay. Bays. Ha'amru Dekora B'Torah, Uvarech Baraka Shel Dekora Miktas Psukim, Upasak V'Divrei Dvar Torah or Divrei Chol. Somebody who is called up for an aliyah, and he says the first bracha, and they start reading, and in the middle of the reading, he stops and says either Divrei Torah or Divrei Chol. Lo hava hefsek ve'eno tzarech lachazor levorech. That's not considered a hefsek, and he can continue reading without a new bracha. Okay. The Korah Mikshas Pesukim, he's read some of the Pesukim. The Ein Chiluk Bein Shakora Pasuk Echad or Kam Pasuk. We don't make a difference whether we read just one pasuk. We read lots of Pesukim. About below Korah, but if he hasn't read Pesukim at all, in Hisuk Afilu the Divrei Torah, if he interrupted, he said the bracha, and before they started Laining, he started saying something. Even Divrei Torah, Kiv Shehu Shalo. The Indian Hakri, he's not involved in the Kriya at this point. He has to go back and make the bracha again. A few sach milachas, even just pause for a second. The call birchas hamitzvahs or nenen is the same with all brachas mitzvah or nenen. The tzorach lahavzu vorech in hisik tekav achar bracha, where you have to go back and make the bracha again if you wait for any period of time after the bracha. Even if you know for a fact that your mind didn't wander during that period. Since you didn't begin the mitzvah directly, you don't have anything to rely upon.
There's nothing that the bracha is
tied to,
attached to, right?
Right. If you waited because of the reading,
sach means not to wait, but sach means to spoke. If you spoke because of something necessary for the kriya.
Okay. Then you have to go make the bracha again. But this is also aser. Bein chiluk bein lashon kodesh lashon chol, and it doesn't make a difference whether you're speaking Hebrew or any other language.
Right.
Lo have a hefsek. That's not considered a hefsek. Rosh wants to say she yitztarech levorech mechadash b'shekori l'chalan, that you would need to make another bracha in order to start reading again. The lo nisbatel adayin birchas harishon, because you've not been mevatel the first bracha. Afil hasiach daito milakro, if you weren't paying attention to the reading anymore. Veshuv nimlach v'korei lahalan. You go back and have to go back and read again. Ein tzarach lahazer levorach. You have to go back and make the bracha. V'yesh mi shekasav b'inyan acher. And those who write in another place, who pasuk birchas, who suffix birchas hakel. That in general, because brachas are rabbanan, suffix bracha were makel anyhow. Mikol makom nachon shemavorech yikav techila bebirchaso. Everywhere that it is proper that the one makes the bracha at the beginning of his bracha. Shafsi asiach daito yaxer v'korei al samach bebirchazu. Then he can go back and do if he loses his attention, he can go back to the reading and be samech on the bracha that he already made. Afal pichein. In spite of this, it's also to stop in the middle of the reading. Af below hasiach daito klal, even if you don't, even your mind doesn't wander at all.
Right. In the middle, no interruptions in the reading, right? Okay.
Gimel.
Yeah.
Somebody is going up through the Torah. He forgot the place. He didn't.
And they show him usually.
They show him where he's supposed to read. Okay, that's like we usually do. They show him where to read. He makes the blessing of the Torah and starts to read. Olochet here, and he hasn't started to read yet. He is Kiruhu Sheh Parsha Acheres Tzarek Likro, and they pointed him to the wrong place. Basically, he's saying he pointed him to the wrong place. Vigral has Sefer Torah L'Makam Tzarek Likro, then they rolled the Sefer Torah to the place, and they rolled the Sefer Torah to the place where he's supposed to read from. Yesh Omrim She'eno Tzarek L'Alzil Vorek. There are those who say you don't have to go back and make a new bracha. There are those who say you do have to go back and make a new bracha. Okay, so the deal is you read from the wrong place. It's whether or not when you fix it up, whether or not you have to make a new bracha or not.
Right.
There are those who say that you don't have to go back. Time of the reason is this: the mistama daito are called parshios Torah munachos of. Because you when you make the bracha, your das is on all of the Torah that's in front of you, so it doesn't matter where you're reading from. The Yesh Orim says that you have to go back. The Vork Kishakori Esa Parshas Harul Lakros when to make a bracha on the parsha that you're supposed to be reading. And time and the reason in this case is the Vadai Lo Niskaven Bibircha so Rak Al Haparsha Sharoi Lo Mukdam. Because your intent. They hold that your intention is only on the parsha that you pointed to be reading. When it turns out that's the wrong one, then your bracha wasn't mechadesh al parsha zu. Therefore, you have to make a new bracha on the correct parsha. The Kosper Achronim right to know game l'maseh b'chayesh omrim hazeh. And we're noheg on the yesh omrim.
This yesh omrim that you don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to.
Vein nachmin vein im hamakom sharoi lo mitchila haya parsha acheres legamri. We don't make a difference whether it was the first place he pointed to was a completely different parsha, a different week, or feel also seder el tzitzorach legolel mimakom rishon lemakom shezeh. But or you're just in the wrong part of the current week's parsha. Because that's tzarech lahazir v'ark. In all these cases, or any of these cases, you have to go back and make the bracha again. Uvavadai lo haya daito bebirchas al masha eno megula lefonav. And hold that your das is not anything that's not revealed before you. So you've got to have the Sefer Torah in the right place.
Right.
Okay. V'haya Adam Ushari Achronim Hamekel Shalo Yagzer Levorek Beim Haya Hamakim Shaharoya Lo Beoso Seder Shel Shavua Zu Af Shitzorek Legolel Makom Makom in Mokum Biyoda. We don't protest about it. Dieshlo Amaz Misa Lismok. You have somebody. This is what to rely on. So the question is, if you've got a column displayed, and they point you to the wrong, one would assume that if they point you to the wrong part of the column to start, that wouldn't be an issue because you're in the right place. But but even if you were in a different column for the proper sedra, and you had to roll the Sefer Torah at all, you would need a new bracha.
According to that, you would not. According to the Chayadim in the Shar Achronim, you could be makel and not have to make a new bracha as long as it was from that Parshas of Shavua.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. But let's say that they finish Maftir and then they have to read for something with Parshas Pinchas for Rosh Chodesh, let's say, right? And they weren't Goylel, and they poured it. So then, in that case, you probably have to make a new bracha.
Okay. In Parshas, excuse me, the Parshas Haroya Loli Kroos Haya im Gam came Megula Lefonav Shiroi Lo Makom Arishon. This is what I said. If the parsha you have to read is revealed at the same point the other the portion you point to is revealed. V'zeh hiskim hataz shar Ephraim de'ein sar lav. In this case, the Taz and Shari Fine, both say you don't have to make another bracha. The daito haya al kol mash megula lefonav, because your dashes and everything that's revealed in front of you. You feel im hamakom haroyalo mitzchila haya meseder shavuos. However, even if the first part was on the previous week's parsha, kivin shagam meseder shel shavuos megula lefonav, and since it's written, it's revealed in front of you. Daito al mash megula, your dashes are what's revealed in front of you. Bein parsha haruya. It doesn't matter what's on the first column or the second column as long as it's revealed in front of you. Desmichas daito al kol masha pasuach lefonav. Your dashes and everything that's your dashes and everything that's revealed in front of you. Gam ein chiluk bein imakom shaharuya lo hayal malam umakom haruya lekros hu lamata. Lamata makom haroya because haya lamala. Whether you point you above and the place we need to be was below, or you point below and the place needs to be above, we don't make a difference. We call Indian ain't sark l'hazer varech kim ain't sark l'gola. You don't have to make a bracha again since you don't have to roll the Sefer Torah. Elashim haroy lo lamata makom haroy lo lamala, except if the place he pointed you was below and you really need is above. But who closes Malachim Haroy, you return to the place that you're supposed to read from. Tov Ikra Ad Hamakom Sher Haroy Lo Betchila Ve'od Eza Psukim L'Chalon. But it's good that even if they pointed you to the bottom, you're supposed to be at the top. That when you read at least past the place that you pointed to. So make everything good.
Okay, very good. Fine.
Okay, Yeshikaya.
Thank you. Very
All right.
good. Thank you, Shikaya.
All right. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Okay,
Very
have a
good.
good Shabbos.
See you all next week. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Very good. Shabbat Shalom, Mayor. Okay, Shabbat Shalom.